reliving too much, just, and not getting any specifics, just how difficult is it as a unit, as a coach, to be part of something, quite frankly, historically bad on Sunday, and then find the way to get up off the ground and go forward?
Well, it hasn't always been that historically bad, but we've had bad before, here and elsewhere. And Tuesdays are really, really tough days sometimes, but it's part of what we do, and so as a coach, how do you stand up there and point out the error, even when you win? I mean, it's easier when you win and you can point out the error, say, hey, we did this, we did this, we did this. But thank goodness we won. We had enough. But then the days you lose, it's harder. And we're all pros, and the players have to be professional about it too. And that's what you rely on, is that over time you've built a relationship with them. That they expect you to be honest and professional with it. And the relationships you've built over time allow you to have those tough conversations. They were tough conversations on Tuesday. I think the players had all seen the film. So I think one of the most important things we addressed was practice. In other words, okay, we all know what happened, what the results were, and let's be a little bit old school about it. How do we fix it so that it doesn't happen again going forward? And we talked real specifically about how we practice, making sure we're doing things the right way, holding each other accountable. And I do think, and maybe it is old school, that's the number one way you affect how you play on Sunday, is how you practice. I mean, you have meetings, you have walkthroughs, you have all those things, but so we tried to look forward positively, but we didn't ignore the errors.
So how much time do you, Bill, how much time do you,
Let's just pause this, Bill, we'll come back.
Thanks.
how much time, or I don't know, percentage-wise, whatever you want, do you spend focusing on the player's mental aspect, the reaction, the attitude? The physical is obvious. We got to fix this, this, and this. But how much time do you spend on the mental part?
Some of it literally starts in the locker room after the game, and so some of it is evaluation of where we are. Obviously, a lot of the guys do come in on Monday, whether it be for treatment or to get extra work, and so you see them, and they come and talk to you. Position coaches tend to have conversations with their guys. So a lot of it depends on the evaluation, how strong your team is. Each guy's probably a little bit different, but I would say when you stand up in front of the unit on Tuesday after a bad performance, that's a big part of what you're thinking about. I mean, they're with you on the specifics, the scheme, whether it be us saying, hey, we made a bad decision as a coaching staff of doing whatever we had planned, or whether it be, hey, we did a bad decision as an offensive unit all being on the same page, or whether we just didn't perform in this area. Because usually there's some of each, right? In most games, even when you win. So that part, they got you. There isn't usually a whole lot of disagreement. But the where are we now? How do we go forward? Who's going to help handle this? How do we make sure this doesn't happen again, and be who we want to be? And you like to just say, hey, let's get this over with. Let's flush it. Everyone would like to get it over with, learn from it, and move forward. That's those of us who have children, right? We all know that's easier said than done. And we're adults, and as coaches, we still sometimes have to do the same thing to ourselves. Maybe the players do it faster than we do as coaches.
You mentioned practice. Is that something that has needed tightening up?
Oh, there are days when it has. I think we just tried to be real specific and not general. Like general would say, yeah, we have to be a better practice team. Well, everyone can say that. So we tried to be specific. Okay, last week in practice, some of these things happened. How did it translate to the game? And so just make a connection for the players and the coaches, for everyone. Because some of it, too, is one of the hardest jobs in an NFL team is to get the team that's giving you a look on defense to give you the look that you're going to see on Sunday. We do our best to pick what we think is going to happen. They can choose to call whatever defense they want. But, hey, their safety doesn't quite play it like ours. So we need you on this play to lean this way, or double A Rob, or do whatever, and getting guys to do it. So part of it, we took that also responsibility on ourselves as coaches. About, okay, on practice, this is what happened last week. Did it or did it not translate right into the game? You know, and I think the players expect you also to put responsibility on them. We call this play in practice. This was the front you got. We expected, because you saw it and you were prepared for it, that you would get it done. So I think they appreciate when you share responsibility, because that's the truth, and as coaches you take pride in it. But to answer your question, I didn't think of it as a general statement, because everywhere can say you should prepare better. We try to do more specifics, and then hopefully everyone sees that, and then go forward concretely, put emphasis on each play, and do better going forward.
Was there something early in the game where you guys saw like, hey, geez, the game plan we put together here is going to have a hard time working against what they were throwing at you?
Oh, I think I didn't feel like we were ill-prepared as far as the amount of stuff, because usually you have enough in that, hey, they decided to play more one-high defense, or more press man, or more two. You usually have enough in, unless they do something totally out of this world. You have enough in to react. I think we've done a decent job with that. So I guess we didn't think of it that way. When you're not doing well, you know, and I've been a little bit in coach's shoes before. Sometimes, as a whole staff, you start searching, right? But I'd like to think that our answers are on there, but we'll take we'll take the blame as coaches. I mean, it's easy right here to sit here and say it, but I'll say it anyway. When you have those kind of protection issues, I mean, if I could go back a week, and I can't, but if I could, I'd help have a different protection plan. We had some things in there. Some of it just didn't work the way we thought it would, but we thought it was a good answer, and it just didn't work. Some of it, obviously, we have mechanisms to help in protection more, whether it be to throw the ball faster, to move the pocket more, to help on the edges, to turn the line and help with more guys, to use tight ends more in protection. All the different answers that we have, and they're all in the offense. It's easy to say I would go back and do things differently because of what the results are. And so let's learn from it and not have it happen again. And I do think also evaluate ourselves as coaches as it was going. Obviously, when you get to a certain point of the game, you're in a 2-minute mode. But as it was going, could we have reacted better and moved to some of those things differently? Again, today I'd say yes.
So Bill, what would you, given that, what would you say are the biggest pass protection issues that need to be fixed? Is it just X's and O's, or what?
No, I think the guys would be real honest. I'm not going to say any names and blame any players, because I think it's obvious if someone got beat,
Right.
he's going to look at it. He's going to look at his set. Did I have help inside? Did I not have help inside? Did I set appropriately? Was this a play action? I should have been firmer. Was I too firm? Did I see how the defender was aligned and anticipate that the movement might have happened? So that's part of it, and I don't feel any differently about our players. What happened, and so you deal with the specifics, move forward. You know, the biggest thing as when you talk to the offensive coordinator is the big picture. Okay, did I help have enough answers in there? So when you're asking me the question, my mind goes to the answers because that's my job.
I guess my question is, was this something that other teams could, now they had two really good pass rushers, obviously, in Clowney and Garrett, but was this
Some other guys that rushed pretty good too. But yeah.
Was this something that other teams can look at the way you did or did not protect and say, hey, this is how we can attack the Bears?
I think so.
Is that an issue that you have to deal with?
I think the players specifically have to look at what hurt them individually and assume that the teams you're playing study you, just like we study rushers and what are their moves and how they do it. So specifically, the players have to take a look in the mirror. Okay, this is what I put on film, so be ready. And then as an offense, we have to make sure, okay, this is what they're going to see. Usually, even if you solve the problem the next week, it's going to last a couple weeks. Excuse me, because people are going to be watching that film for a couple weeks. People are going to, just like we do, right, at the beginning of the week, I get the stats, and it says, okay, we're playing the Lions. This is the stats from week 1. This is from week 2, week 3. So you see what happened in every game. Say, oh, wow, that somebody ran the ball for this yards per rush against them. Let's really study how they did it and see if that applies to us. They're going to do the same thing with our pass protection. So that's going to – the last game of the season, people might still look at that number of sacks and go back. So we better solve it. And again, my focus obviously is on the scheme part of it. Do we have enough tools and answers for our guys? And when you have that many, it's I know I'm not trying to give like a canned answer, but it is pretty shared. Like scheme, throwing the ball on time, technique, do we have more answers and different things we could do. I mean, it's hard to have that many pass protection issues and not honestly say it was shared.
You and Nagy talked about how fair of an assessment can you make of Justin's game?
Oh, fair is, okay, this is how I played. So it's honest, it's real. Now, do you ever hope to be to get in exactly that same situation again? Hopefully not, ever in his career, but, it happened. And so, you just say, okay, faced with these adversities, here's how I reacted. When you tally that many sacks on the game sheet, do all quarterbacks get affected by that? Absolutely. So we know that. So is it fair? That's not fair, right? That was his first regular season NFL start. Sometimes there's good, sometimes they're bad, but if you learn from it, then it's not bad. It feels bad. It feels bad, but if you just take that attitude, learn from it, and it's not bad.
Bill, in your experience, when a young guy gets hit like that, as often as he got hit, can that travel with him from week to week?
I don't think it's going to travel with this. This is we're talking about a tough guy. I think hopefully, you guys saw that one shot he took. What game was that in the preseason?
Buffalo.
Yeah, this is a tough guy, physically and mentally. So I'm not concerned. It's a good question.
Bill, what did you learn about Justin, both in that moment and then how he has responded this week that maybe you didn't know before that?
I loved how he practiced yesterday. And so what is the ultimate big picture answer to your question? Like what comes from that? I don't know. But I love what I saw yesterday. To me, that was positive evidence that even though we had bad, he's going to turn it to good by learning from it. I thought he came out and really had a great practice yesterday.
Thanks, everybody.